The Los Angeles Rams head to Tampa Bay to face the Bucks, two 1-1 teams. And, what am I going to do? Am I going to get excited about this game? I'm not going to. The Rams have 9 points the entire season. Todd Gurley, the only thing I get excited about on the Rams, can't run because his offensive line can't make holes because they can't pass, and Case Keenum's still involved. Marron, get me away from that. On the Bucs side, all right. There's a little bit of excitement, Greg. You got Jameis Winston, and you got some nice playmakers and some guys on D. But you know what?
Week 2 was exciting for you.
Week 2 was grotesque.
Hey, you're going to have some stinkers, but Jameis Winston has too many of them. If you look at what he did last year, he had about 5 games where he just absolutely collapsed and gave his team no chance to win. And if you're going to take that next step, like I expect him to do, you're going to have to cut that down to about, okay, you had your one last week, and that's it. And this matchup, to me, is tougher than the matchup against Arizona. It's similar. It's not a road game, so that helps. But this Rams front 7, they're going to get after Jameis Winston. He just has to not turn the ball over, and you should be able to beat the Rams.
Well, I think Mike Evans is going to find it a lot easier to operate against the Rams cornerbacks than he did against Patrick Peterson. And that's the matchup because I think Mike Evans is in for a monster year.
I agree. He looks really good so far.
The weirdest story of the month to me is the Jeff Fisher contract extension that's floating around in the ether. Is it too crazy to think that they were kind of crowdsourcing that, checking the court of public opinion?
It is certainly not too crazy.
No.
You know, the fact that it's been in the news for a couple of weeks but it has not happened yet just seems kind of weird.
It would bother me that they would need to crowdsource
That-
Oh, obviously, absolutely.
That sort of thing happens, though, with coach and GM extensions. Sometimes they don't get reported for 6 months, or you'll hear that, oh, John Schneider, by the way, that's the wrong example, but there was someone last year where you didn't even know about it for 5 months, and I bet it's done. I bet that it's agreed to, whatever it is.
They're afraid to announce
I don't know
it.
why they won't announce it.
Greg, are you
You know why? You know why?
They just beat the Seattle Seahawks, all of
Well-
our choice as the #1 team in the league.
Maybe they're waiting for the Rams to score a touchdown this year.
Yeah, that would be good.
because
That's-
by the end of the year, Jeff Fisher will be the losingest coach in NFL history.
Because Tavon Austin was just given a major contract, and how many targets does
That
he have
gets worse
this year?
by the week.
21 targets for 63 yards so far. It's like they're trying to earn that money.
Here's what concerns me about the Bucs this week. You just saw what the Rams did to Seattle's ground game in the first half last week. 14 carries for 14 yards before Michael heated up a little bit in the second half. You don't have Doug Martin. And we saw that without Doug Martin last week, that Bucs offense, he is the fundamental core of that offense. And you
Although
take
we
him
talk
out.
about how they have a 1-2 punch that's up
Well,
there
but
with
the
anybody
number
in the
2
league.
punch is not the same type of
No.
running back as Doug Martin.
Right. The number 2 punch is a passing game guy.
Right. We're hearing that Jaquiz Rodgers is going to get a lot of work.
I mean, give me a break on Jaquiz Rodgers.
Whoa,
Look,
bro.
He couldn't even make the Bears backfield, which is one of the worst in the NFL.
I didn't choose the Bucs because they're a complete roster. I chose them because they're going to be fun to watch, and they're going to withstand some adversity, like losing Doug Martin this Sunday.
They made the Cardinals fun to watch last week. Thank you, Greg.